Coming up next, an interview with my dear friend, one of my favorite people in the world, the man of 1,000 voices, always a blast, world-renowned voice actor. He's also a rock star. He got sued by a legendary rock singer for sounding too much like him. And today he shares a story of how his neighbor, William Shatner, Captain Kirk himself, has mistaken him for years for Gene Simmons of Kiss. That's how great of a voice actor he is. It's one of the funniest rock stories I've ever heard. Plus, he's going to break down his band Rock Sugar's latest rock masher, equal parts Queen and Linkin Park. You're not going to want to miss this one. It's always so much fun. It's coming up next on Professor Rock. Hey, music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you've ever recorded a song off the radio praying that the DJ wouldn't talk over the top of it, you're going to appreciate this channel. It's music nostalgia. Make sure that you subscribe below right now to be a part of our community. Click the box, click the bell, all that good stuff. Insight directly from the legends. Also, check out our merch. If you like Professor of Rock, get one of our t-shirts below. Check us out on Patreon. That helps us keep it a daily channel. Man, I'm so excited about today's episode. You loved him the first time and the second time that we had him on the show. Another in-depth interview with Jess Harnell, the voice behind Wacko Warner from the Animaniacs. He's also the voice of Crash Bandicoot and the frontman of hard rock band Rock Sugar. Rock Sugar, they're amazing. They take the greatest classic rock songs of our youth and they just reimagine them in a whole new way. It's awesome. So coming up, Jess is going to tell us about their latest rock and roll tune that combines Queen and Linkin Park. And he also shares one of the funniest stories that I've ever heard. So his neighbor is William Shatner. And for many years, Shatner has mistaken Jess for a member of Kiss. Gene Simmons, to be exact. Shatner thinks he's Gene, and he's had some really funny run-ins with him. You got to hear the story. And stay tuned at the end of this video because we've got a special message for you. As we get into this interview, I do want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, the glasses that I always wear on here. Right now, you can get a complete pair of Zenni glasses starting at just $6.95. Yeah, under $7. The average pair of frames at Zenni is over 80% off regular retail prices. That means you can get multiple pairs for what you would normally pay for just one. Again, you choose the style, the color, the shape, you design your own. You can see how you look before you buy. Check it out today. There's an info button you'll click on, it'll come out, it'll take you right there. If you click on our link, you'll get the best deal. We're gonna take care of you. Here is Jess Harnell. You have a pretty cool story that you told me about.
Which one?
You have a neighbor that thinks to this day that you're Gene Simmons.
Well, after this, he ain't going to think it anymore. No, this is, well, first of all, you know, I'll throw this at you first. Listen, for all you Kiss fans out there, you got one thing you got to love about Kiss is that, you know, I make my living primarily as started as a studio singer, then became a voiceover actor, and then I kind of do an amalgam of both. And in Rock Sugar, I'm imitating all these singers. My favorite thing about Kiss is that Paul Stanley has two voices, right? Paul Stanley has his offstage voice, which sounds like one of the Real Housewives of Long Island, okay? Where he goes, you know, Kiss is like a buffet. And the great thing about Kiss is that you got like your appetizer and you got your main course and then you got a delicious dessert platter for dessert. It's the whole thing. It's everything. And then on stage, he's like, I know there's got to be some people like to taste alcohol. And you're like, where did that come from? Like, you know, where's the disconnect? Is he backstage going, oh, it's time? Okay, let's get out there and rock. And you're like, well, I don't understand it. So anyway, but the Kiss story that you're alluding to is that okay, yeah, we're going in, right? So my wife and I live in the Hollywood Hills, and God bless him, we had a neighbor for a while. And this guy was not known for his sense of humor. He was a very kind of like Ben Stein. Remember Bueller? Yeah. He was kind of like one-note guy. And he once came up to me and he goes, oh, hey, Jess, I told Shatner you were in Kiss. Shatner, right? And I go, why'd you do that? He goes, because he asked me if you were in Kiss, right? And I thought to myself, well, the only reason that could make him ask that is because I think in William's head, in Bill's head, he thinks that anybody who could live on his street that looks like me would have to be in Kiss. There's no other explanation. Like, what else is that guy doing on my street? He has to be, because he's heard of Kiss. Right. So my neighbor said, yes, he is, when he asked him, which what I love about this story, folks, is I haven't lied about it. I've never said to him that, yes, I'm in Kiss. When he addresses me as Gene Simmons, I just say hi. Right? So I'm cool, man. My conscience is clear. Right? And one day what happened was Rich told me that he told Shatner that I was in Kiss. Right? And he goes, yeah, I knew it. He's the guy with the big tongue. Right? Right? Which of course that's Gene Simmons. Right? So one day I'm out in front of my house and I'm getting some mail. This is years ago. Adam, this is 20 years ago. And I'm getting the mail and I hear this car in my peripheral hearing pull up behind me and the window goes down and I hear this voice and the voice goes, Gene. Right? And I don't turn around because my name isn't Gene. Right? And I'm looking through the mailbox and the voice again goes, Gene. And I turn around and I see Shatner.
William Shatner.
Yeah, William Shatner, the legend, William
Captain
Shatner,
Kirk.
sitting in his Range Rover. Right? And I go, oh yeah, Rich told him I'm in Kiss. Right? So I go, hey man, how are you? Right? Again, I didn't, right? And he goes, I'm good. He goes, do you have a second? And I said, yeah. So I walk over to his Range Rover and he puts his hand out and he goes, I'm Bill. And I go, yeah, it's nice to meet you, man. It's nice to meet you. And he goes, so you're enjoying your house? And I said, yeah, I love my house, man. And then this part of the story, there's two things you got to know. First of all, our house is really weird. It looks kind of like a spaceship. It's very unusual.
It's very cool.
Yeah, which is why I initially bought it, because it looked like a spaceship. The realtor said, don't you want to look at other houses? I said, unless you got one that looks like a submarine, I'm going to take the spaceship out. So I moved in to the spaceship house. But he goes, so are you enjoying your house? And I said, yeah, very much. And this, interestingly, this was the only part of the conversation, Adam, where he turned into Captain Kirk. Because everybody, when they imitate William Shatner, they imitate Captain Kirk. But he doesn't really talk. He talks very low key. And he's like this, how you doing? It's good to see you. That's how he talks,
Yeah.
right? So he turned into Captain Kirk, though, for this one moment. Because he goes, so you're enjoying your house? And I said, yeah, very much. And he goes, it's an unusual home. Like that. Right? And he really, like, for that moment, it was like, there it is, right? And I go, I'm like, oh, that's Captain Kirk.
I'm in command. I could order this, but I'm not.
I said, yeah, it's weird, which is the reason that I like it so much. And he goes, listen, Gene, there's something I've been dying to ask you. And I go, okay. Right. And he leans in close to me. Okay. And he said, word for word, I've told this story so many times. This is absolutely what he said. He goes, when you go out on the concert tour, there must be broads like crazy. Okay, broads like crazy. Now, as a Sinatra fan, you know that nobody but Frank Sinatra ever said those words, and that was in 1961. So this was in like 1999, right? And he goes, there must be broads like crazy, right? And I, I'm just playing along with it. I go, oh, man, it can get pretty nuts on the road, bro. It's pretty crazy out there. And he goes, right? And now, Adam, at this point, he just sat perfectly still, and he stared at me for about 8 seconds. Now, that doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're done watching this, go stare at somebody for 8 seconds and don't speak to them and see how freaked out they get. And after 8 seconds, he goes, God, that's hot. Just like that, right? And I'm like, and it was so weird and everything. I like took a step back and I was like, ooh, that was kind of creepy, man. That kind of freaked me out, right? And I go, yeah, it's pretty hot. It's pretty hot. He goes, okay, gotta go. And he peeled out and went home. The last time I saw him here at the house, he walked by. This is like 5 years ago as opposed to the other store, which was 20. He walks by my house, holding his wife's hand. He's in front of my house. And he goes, hey, Gene. He goes, how you doing? And I go, I'm good, man. And I go, rock on, Bill. Like that, right? And he kind of looked like shocked, because I think he thought I was doing the Vulcan sign from Star Trek, right? But I was doing that. And he goes, and I go, rock on, Bill. And he goes, oh, believe me. Right? And he holds up one finger, just like this, in the air. And he goes, I intend to. And he walked away with this one finger up. Like, he didn't understand this, so he just did this. And that made me really happy that night, because I thought he's going to go somewhere tomorrow and go, you know what this means? This means rock on. Gene Simmons taught me that.
William Shatner, though, wasn't there like something you saw him in a sandwich place or something?
Oh, the ice cream place.
Yeah.
I was in Cold Stone Creamery randomly one day, and I think it's oddly enough, like the one time I was ever in there. And it was kind of a long, straight room. And I was sitting way in the back with a friend, and I was having some ice cream. And Shatner comes walking in. Right now, so he's about 18 feet away from me at the front of the store, right? And immediately, you know when a celebrity enters the room, because there's always like this little buzz, and people are like, "Oh, that's William Shatner. It's Captain Kirk. It's over there, it's Captain Kirk." Right? So I look up and I see him, right? And he sees me, And we kind of made eye contact, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Gene Simmons." He's like, so he orders his ice cream, right? And he gets this little cup of ice cream, and he walks over to my table where I'm sitting. And I would stand up, but I don't want to mess up my microphone. But he walks over, and now I'm sitting, he's standing, which is already an awkward way to speak to somebody because you're doing this, right?
Right.
Puts his hand on my shoulder. We have these weird non sequitur encounters. We've had like 5 of them. And he looks at me, and he takes the bite of the ice cream. And he goes, "Gene, this is the best ice cream that I've ever had." Right? And I go, "Yeah, man, it's really good. It's really good ice cream." And he goes, "Okay." And he leaves. he made the trip. He made the trip from the front of the store to the back of the store to tell me how good the ice cream was. Then he left. That was it. That's all he needed to get done. And he did it. He checked it off his list, and he got back into Starship Enterprise and went home. Yeah, he went home. Yeah, true story.
So I want to jump right into what's going on with Rock Sugar right now, because you guys are getting ready to release. In fact, we're going to do a special presentation here on Professor of Rock.
We're honored.
About your new single. Tell us about, let me see if I can get
good luck,
right.
man.
Crawling Numbly to Somebody Bohemian.
Come on, man. See, they don't call you professor for nothing. Yeah, well, what this is, man, for those who may not know, Rock Sugar is we mash up songs. We basically take the sweetness of the sugar, which would be pop, and combine it with the heaviness of the rock to make Rock Sugar. And we have combined AC/DC with Madonna, and Kiss with Paula Abdul, and Adele with Motley Crue, and all kinds of other things that don't necessarily sound like they would go together, but they do. And in this case, we're very excited about this video, man. I think out of all the videos that we've done, which we've been blessed enough to have a lot of people enjoy and see, this might be my favorite one because we really wanted to pay tribute. All of the stuff that we do is basically a tribute.
Right.
Because as you just acknowledged by my collection of stuff, I'm a fan first, man. I mean, I love these people, Right. We used to say to people at shows when they'd come up and they'd say hi to us at concerts with Rock Sugar, I'd always be like, "Man, I'm exactly like you. I just happen to get by security and get up on the stage." It's the same thing. Because the mindset's the same. I just love that stuff. And in this video, what we tried to do is we're paying homage to, again, 2 stylistically different kinds of performers, but they're both legendary. Freddie Mercury from Queen and Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, right? And when you're thinking, well, they're both amazing musical icons, those bands, but their genres are so different. How can they possibly go together? Well, if you watch this video, you'll find out. And the thing that I'm most excited about, Adam, is a lot of our mashups have 2 songs in them, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. I think the most we ever had before this was 6. This song, to show you how well we can all get along together if we just try, I think it has 7 Queen songs and 7 Linkin Park.
Really?
Yeah, there's like 14 tunes in there, man. And it was so easy. It just came together like a jigsaw puzzle. You have to mess with keys and bridging things together and stuff like that. But in the end, man, it's like a crowning achievement, and we couldn't be prouder of it. And to add to it, at the end of the video, we have a list of honorary producers. These are our friends. We call them the sugar heads. Yeah. And they don't literally have sugar heads because they'd all be diabetic. But what was really nice is they all lent a hand to get this video done, and they all get a name credit at the end of the video. So that makes it even more personal and special. But I think it's my favorite one. I hope it'll be yours too. And I hope it'll be yours too, and yours and yours and yours, yeah. But I know we've got Bohemian Rhapsody. We do the Somebody to Love breakdown with all the vocals. Find me somebody to love. Find me somebody to love. Find me somebody. And we did it exactly faithfully to the original, which I'm happy about. Also by Queen. There's The Show Must Go On. Who Wants to Live Forever? With Lincoln, there's Crawling, there's Numb, obviously, there's In the End. It doesn't even matter. One More Light, which we found at the last minute, and we threw it into the last minute. Who cares when someone's time runs out?
How does this come out? Do you and Chucky and your band, you guys sit down and you study the songs and say, these are the 7 songs from each band that we want to get in there? Or does it say, well, we want to focus on 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden the inspiration hits? Tell me about that process.
That's an interesting question. Yes, it started with there's a very distinctive musical passage from Linkin Park that is the first thing that we use at the beginning of the song. And we just happened to start, we started singing, Mama just killed a man, over that, right? And it worked. It worked. And we went, hey, okay, that's the beginning. Mama just killed a man. And I can't give enough credit to Chuck Duran, who's the guitar player for Rock Sugar, because he does so much heavy lifting, as I think we talked about in a previous interview that we had such a good time doing. I basically show up at the last minute and go, hey, we can also add this, this, and this. And he goes, that'll never work. And then he tries it and goes, it does work, yes. but we make it work. Yeah. But he does the heavy stuff, man. Right. He gets into it and he says we can take In the End from Linkin Park and put it over this progression from The Show Must Go On and it'll work, whatever. No, it's like he's the guy. He's such a great arranger because he can play everything. I play the instrument I have, which is this plus a mic stand, and he puts it all together in the nuts and bolts. But yes, there's this thing in the Linkin Park song "One More Light," which I discovered at the last moment, and it goes, who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? Right, well, I do. And I thought, that's very poignant when you talk about somebody passing away. That wasn't in our song. We basically had it finished. So I said, maybe this will work. And I went up to the mic and I started singing that and it worked. So we felt like, we were looking for that good kind of divine providence and guidance. And I think we got a little bit of it. And again, coming back to where we started, we're such fans of these guys that it's such a privilege for us to, in our small way, try to pay a tribute to the mark that they made and continue to make, even though they're not still here physically to make it. For me, my musical lexicon, we talked about this a moment ago, it breaks down to three components, right? The Beatles showed me how to write a song, how a song should be written. Yeah. Steve Perry showed me how a song should be sung. And Kiss showed me how a song should be performed.
I love it.
Isn't that cool? And listen, you guys, you can fill in those blanks with whoever it was for you. Because again, I'm not right. That was just right for me. Yeah. Whatever it is, it's right for you. I love that experience, like you said, of looking forward to the next album and getting that album, or buying an album by a band and freaking out and loving it and going, you mean they have 7 other albums? Right. Oh my God, I got to save up all my allowance, man.
Well, Harnell-O-Vision.
Harnell-O-Vision.
Let's end on that.
Well, dude, you know what, man? It's like Harnell-O-Vision is just this kind of organic little idea that I came up with my wife. Yeah. And we go out there and we do these personal appearances. I mean, it started with me doing them, but then she started sitting at my table, and now I think they'd actually rather have her be there than me. But they really like her, the folks out there that we meet on the road. And what I find is that, when you do enough of these things, you build connections with these people. And a lot of the time, they're looking for a little bit of encouragement or inspiration. And we live in a world that can be pretty tough. So I find myself in the position of giving a lot of pep talks. And I do these cameos, these cameos where you do greetings for people, they can order a greeting. And more often than not, my greetings are not for happy birthday or congratulations on, whatever happened to you. It's, hey man, I've got a big job interview. Could you give me a pep talk? Right? And listen, I don't pretend to be Dr. Phil. I'm not Dr. Phil Adam. I'm just me, but I'm doing my thing. And the thing is that I said to Cara, I said, you know what? We could do this once a week, and just send a positive message out to people. Yeah. Not expecting anything, not trying to monetize it, not asking for anything in return, just some encouraging, common sense rooted stuff that we hope might help people a little bit. Yeah. So we've started doing it, and it's at Harnell-O-Vision, if you guys are so inclined, and if you do us the honor of checking it out. Harnellevision. Harnell-O-Vision. And all it is just a couple minutes of reminding you that there are things in life that don't suck, and that there are things in life that are still worth shooting for, and that love is still a good thing. So if you have a minute, check it out. I hope you might. And in the meantime, I said this once before, but I want to say it again. It's important to me. I know that he's got a vast audience, and deservedly so. But I also know that for the time that we sat here talking, and you guys spent that same amount of time watching it. So we are grateful that you gave us your time. And thanks for watching this. I hope we get to see all you guys again.
All right, to see the full video of Crawling Numbly to Somebody Bohemian by Jess's band Rock Sugar, make sure to click on the link below. You can also get Rock Sugar's amazing album with this song on it and many other of your favorite classic rock songs that you'll hear in a whole new way, I might add. What you do there is just go to rocksugarband.com. I'll link to it below so you have that. Make sure to leave us a comment about Jess Harnell, the man of thousands of voices, including rock voices. What do you think of this music? What do you think of these stories? These are songs, like I said, you'll hear in a whole new way. I love Jess. He's one of the best guys out there. If you like this video, we do invite you to be a full-time part of our community by subscribing below. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.